What should students be able to do by the end of level 1? Well, first of all, welcome to Spanish. I'm so proud of you for deciding to study a language, and I'm glad that you chose Spanish. Whether you chose it for yourself or maybe somebody else chose for you, that's great. I'm just happy that you're here. You are going to learn so much this year, not just the words of the Spanish language, not just how to use those words together in sentences, not just how people perceive things differently in different cultures, but you're going to learn a lot about yourself, what's best for your own learning and study habits, and a little bit more about how you think and process information. And that's some incredibly valuable stuff. So again, welcome. Level 1 is, of course, the basics. Level 1 is the foundation on which the rest of language proficiency is built. What you're going to be able to do by the end of level 1 is largely dependent on you. We don't learn language passively. So if you just sit there in class and do nothing, and your mind is somewhere else, what you'll be able to do by the end of level 1, well, not much. If you are, however, fully engaged in trying to learn, even though you will encounter difficulties, you will make mistakes in your language learning, and you'll come to find out that that's not only expected, but it's a good thing. You will be able to have a conversation with somebody who speaks only Spanish, no English, on at least a basic level, and you should be able to go to any of the 21 countries where Spanish is spoken as the primary language, and people should be able to understand you. There will still be a lot that you won't be able to understand. You should be able to ask for time, anything related to the calendar. You should be able to figure out where you are. You should be able to introduce yourself, introduce someone else, and understand when someone introduces themselves to you. You should be able to share personal information, anything from your address, phone number, email, birthday, what you like and don't like to do in your free time, what your school schedule and experience is like. And then as you move through the upper levels of Spanish, you will build on those topics that we solidify in level 1. So if there is any one level of Spanish to put in all of your gumption, all of your effort, it's level 1. None of the language that we teach you in level 1 is going to go away. It's all going to get built on. So if you have gaps by the end of level 1 and you take level 2, you will have to fill those gaps at some point. So fill them now so that by the time you get to level 2, you can just enjoy the new learning that's happening. You'll have some review and practice, but you'll be able to participate at a much higher level, and your proficiency will expand at a higher level if you really have that solid foundation. So in level 1, we are going to build proficiency in a number of different ways. We're going to do listening practices. You're going to hear me speak mostly in Spanish, which might sound scary, but you get used to it and then you get the hang of it. And that's a really cool moment. We're going to do a lot of reading practices, different kinds of readings, stories, articles, lists, infographics, you name it. We're going to do interpersonal speaking where you're conversing with other students, with me, with a computer, hopefully with native speakers as well. You're going to speak in Spanish in a more presentational capacity, and we'll get into that later, and you're going to do a lot of writing as well. On top of that, we're going to be learning a lot about culture and different places around the world. So it's a lot. It's a lot of information. It's a lot of new, and it's a lot of exciting. By the end of level 1, you should be able to pick out a number of words and phrases that you have studied from texts that you read of any type, and from things that you hear or overhear. One of my favorite suggestions for students is to take a movie that you know really, really well, you've seen it a ton of times, and put it in Spanish with Spanish subtitles. That way you already know the plot, you're not guessing at what's happening. The only thing that's different is the language. And you get to see through the subtitles and you get to hear through the speech how the language is put together in real context with which you are already familiar. You should be able to write about yourself. You should be able to explain what you do on the weekend, what your school day looks like, where you go, what you do, some of your favorite activities. We're also going to be talking about families and food, which are two of the most fundamental cultural components out there. So we're doing a lot of foundation building. We're going to talk about a lot of topics that are personal to ourselves, stuff that forms our identity as people, as individuals, and within the groups to which we belong. So we're really going to get to know each other as we do this level as well. I hope that by the end of level 1, you get to look back to the beginning and think to yourself, wow, I know so much more now than I started with. I can do so much more now, and I hope that you feel confident in your ability and ready to continue with your Spanish learning. Of course, if you need any help, any suggestions, I am always here for you. Don't hesitate to contact me. Email is definitely the best way, but I'll try to respond to you as quickly as I can, no matter how you reach out. Welcome to Spanish 1.